This is the VPPR session. It was in 2008 when the presenter of today's training had his human resources department suggest that he join Toastmasters. Well, he did so and has been a member of Toastmasters ever since. He picked up his DTM along the way, and during that stretch, he has been the vice president of public relations 4 times. He's excited about being the VP PR, as we call it. He hopes that you too will be excited about doing your role as VP PR. Please welcome George Hazard, distinguished Toastmaster George Hazard.
Thank you, Paula. In fact, it took me 3 months back in 2008 before I actually joined Toastmasters. 3 months of visiting the club over and over. That's how shy I was. I guess I grew out of it. Let's see. But today, over the last, how many years has it been? 15, I guess now. Wow. I got to tell you, I was in sales. And in sales, the idea is to bring people into your company. Here is VPPR. The idea is to find people to entice them to your club. That's what I want to cover today. All the different ways. And as I said, Pamela, I hope I don't overwhelm you, but we'll touch on a bunch of things and I'll show you as I share my screen with you. Here we are. And I'm hiding right over here. You'll see me. It's going to be almost like Where's Waldo, because I'm going to be different spots on the screen. But these are the things that we'll talk about today. And how about we start with branding? And we could start anywhere here, but we'll start with branding. And when you have branding, what I'm really saying is if you go to McDonald's in New York City, and you go to a McDonald's in Tokyo, Japan, you're going to find out that they're very, very similar, almost exactly the same. You know what you're getting in either place. And that's what Toastmasters wants us to do, adhere to the brand. And when I say the brand, I mean the colors and the kind of images that we put up on the different social medias. In fact, let's take a look at the brand manual. And the brand Toastmasters has a brand manual. You can go to Toastmasters International and find this brand manual. But in this brand manual, you want to be able to use the right colors. There we go. And when I say the right colors, I mean the Toastmaster colors. I went on to Instagram, for instance, and I looked at hundreds of postings by different Toastmaster clubs. And many of them adhere beautifully to the Toastmaster branding, but many of them did not. And all you have to do is use the Toastmaster colors. That isn't all, but I'll show you some more in a moment. But using the Toastmaster colors, and you see these hex numbers that you see with each one of these colors? These colors, when you're designing any posting that you're going to do, if you use these numbers, these identifiers, then you will get exactly the Toastmaster colors. And I think that's so neat. When you see it out in the world, you know you're looking at Toastmasters. Now, the same goes for the logos. And of course, we want to use the Toastmaster logo in its original form. I say that because once upon a time, I thought I was helping a Disney club and I put Mickey Mouse ears on a Toastmaster logo. No. I can't do that. No, I didn't get it posted, but I started in that direction. Then I discovered that in branding, I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. It's just wrong. And here's some other things that go along with the Toastmaster logo. And we can't distort the logo. You can see up here where there's different variations here on the right side of the screen. We shouldn't do any of those. We do those logos as they are on the left side of the screen. So we keep it clean and simple. We adhere to Toastmasters branding. And it makes it for a very good looking posting as we're trying to entice people to come to our club. Now, in addition to branding, you can go to Toastmasters International and do images. You can grab any of these images, maybe not this one, but here and here, you can do these images and you can download any of these and use them in your postings. And it makes it very professional. And that's the idea, to have branded postings, things that just, I want to say, just scream out, this is Toastmasters. All right, so that's branding. And we want to keep the Toastmaster brand. And you'll see it. You'll go on to the different sites, Facebook or Instagram, any of the others, and you'll know when a club is adhering to the Toastmaster brand. But before we get over to the social medias, let's talk about one that comes free of charge, and that's Free Toast Toast. Now, I'm going to get on my soapbox here because I really believe you, as the Vice President of Public Relations, should be posting to your club website, because your club website entices people. I've gotten numerous inquiries coming in through the directory here, or contact us, people who come to our website and then are interested, and then they'll send in the form for contacting us. And I'll jump right on that because that tells me they're very interested. Let me show you one other. Oh, yeah, I'll stop with the Toastmaster website, but my soapbox thing is, yes, you're VPPR, but you're not the site administrator. Well, here's my soapbox. I really think you should be a site administrator. You can share that administrative ability with others in the club because you have a specific purpose for Free Toast Toast. And I'm hoping you'll take advantage of that, because if you look down at the bottom of this page, I can't show you right now, but on your club website, you can see how many unique people have visited your club in the last 365 days. And I've looked around at many other clubs. I see it ranging from 350 people, unique people, to 1,200 people. Now, I tell you that because as you do your social media efforts, you can use that as a gauge of how well you're doing. If you are inviting people to come and visit your club website, then you'll know if all your other social media attempts are working for you. All right, now you ready to go to social media? And Pam, I'm sorry, we have a few of them over here. What I'm going to share with you is a whole bunch of them, a whole ring of them. Do you know, by the way, Pam, or not Pam, but Paula, if someone has a question or a comment, why don't you interrupt me as we go? I really do want engagement. For instance, any of you are used to, you know what Meetup is? Anybody want to tell me what Meetup is, or do you know what it is?
Susan Spell, Pam Winter, they know what Meetup is.
That's right. It's a chance. Go ahead, Pam.
Meetup is an entirely different platform from Toastmasters, where there's all kinds of things to do within your community. And Toastmasters special meetup pages where you can post your club's events and things that you do.
Exactly. And now that's what you see on the screen right here, right now. I went and looked up Toastmasters within 100 miles of Davenport, and I had these clubs pop up. Now, if your club is within 100 miles of Davenport, your club should be on here too. And here's what an individual listing looks like. This is an overall listing. And then if I go here, you can see what an individual listing is. And I'm showing you this because just this week, I had an inquiry come in, and over the last year, I bet I've gotten a dozen inquiries. But here's what an inquiry looks like. You'll get an email that looks like this. And these folks, when they inquire like this, you can go view the whole chat. Oftentimes, they leave their email address or their phone number. They want information about your club. And you can easily provide that to them. I know, you're saying, how? How do I do that? Well, typically, the meetup costs money, except if you're in District 84. And in District 84, Becky McClinton here is the meetup coordinator. And you, as the Vice President of Public Relations, she will give you accessibility to Meetup so that you can go in and post your club. Now you can set that post in there and it can stay all year if you want, or you can change it as you see fit. Either way, but this is another way to bring people into your club. There's no real one magic bullet, but I'm telling you, this is one of the bullets or one of the arrows in your quiver. So take advantage of this. Just contact Becky. All right, I'm bringing us back out of Meetup. So that's Meetup. Now, what about Instagram? Here's what ours looks like. One of my clubs, Toast of Celebration. And notice, please, that we are adhering to the Toastmaster branding. And here's another club where, again, you can see that we're adhering to the Toastmaster branding. And these are Instagram posts. And and I'll go over some of the things that we can post up onto Instagram. But I want to talk a little bit about hashtags. I know you've probably heard of them. Maybe there's an expert in our audience today for hashtags. But with hashtags, you see the top part of this page is how our two clubs that I'm doing with Instagram, that's what we post. But we add to that these hashtags to help us get more people to find our clubs. Now, I've watched a couple videos and I came across one video that says we should have no more than 30 hashtags. They went on to say that the algorithm will break down and not function if you have more than 30. So these are the hashtags we use for our clubs for the Toast of Celebration in Hunters Creek. But what hashtags should you use? Well, I found a Toastmasters website that said that these are the top 10 hashtags for us Toastmasters. So 35% is Toastmasters itself, Toastmasters International, and public speaking 12. If you just did those, you would be up in the 60 percentile for attractivity, if you will, if that's a word. And Paula will post this in the chat for all of you to have. So you already have this coming towards you in the chat. All right, that's hashtags. Now we've already talked about Facebook, but not completely. Did you know that Facebook owns Instagram? So here on my setup here, I have it automatically sending over to Facebook any postings that I do for the Hunters Creek Toastmasters. So whatever I do at Instagram and for Hunters Creek, automatically it'll go over to Facebook Hunters Creek webpage. And you can do the same if you're going to use one or the other or both. This is an easy way to get 2 for 1 here. It's a 2 for 1 deal. But what do you post? Well, you know what I did? I went through literally hundreds of postings on Instagram and wrote down what they were posting. What was it about? So I started doing Toastmasters tip of the week or meeting announcements. Let's say you have a speaker that is going to come, a special speaker coming to your club, Matt Kinsey maybe. You would post that to Instagram and Facebook to help bring people in. And that's what you're doing as the Vice President of Public Relations. So any of these are good. And you're going to find this listing also in that one file that you'll have in the chat. So it'll be there waiting for you. So take advantage of any way to draw people into your club. And that's through posting through all of the social medias. All right. Now, how do I go about doing a post? Well, there's a couple ways. And the way that I've finally decided on is for our clubs is through Canva. And with Canva, it's so very easy to make a post, and you can make it a Facebook post. You can customize it 6 ways to Sunday. The ones you're looking at now are Instagram posts. So these are different posts that we have done for Instagram. And then here's an individual post. Well, not with me in the middle, but it's so easy using Canva to do these posts. And then you just save it and then you can send it to a post. Additionally, I use Canva to do posts for free Toast hosts. So I'll make a post here that's the appropriate size for the free Toast host, and I will save it, post it over there. And I can do it over and over, and they give you lots of different things you can use, templates they call them. And then another way, if you don't have Canva or don't want to use Canva, you can use PowerPoint. This is how I got started doing my post. You just go ahead and make PowerPoint presentations, and then instead of saving it as a PowerPoint, you export as PNGs. And then that way you can make your posts over there too.
Sorry, I didn't want to run over somebody. I just posted in the chat a question. Great templates that you were showing in Canva, but if we're new to it and without reinventing the wheel, how can we access the templates so that we can just adjust for our club?
Oh, it's so very easy in Canva. You just look at all the templates they have, and they'll throw up something like a birthday party. And then you move that over and put it into your form. And then what you do is you can go change your colors to Toastmaster colors. And you can just modify each and every template that they have in Canva, move it over, and then you start to change the colors, and you can move a picture out of Canva and put in your own picture, maybe one of those that you got from Toastmasters International. I don't want to say it's easy, but it's relatively, I learned it without watching a lot of other YouTube videos. Yeah. But you'll find it's rather easy and I want to say customer friendly, or what's the better word for it? Something along that line. But I think you would like Canva. Of course, PowerPoint works too. It just is so much easier over in Canva, I have found in the long term.
Can I make a comment too?
Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Susan Spell. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
Sure.
I've been using Canva. I keep learning for other purposes, but what I have found very helpful, and maybe we could, as a group, I think what the other person was asking, maybe we could build generic templated posts already that are Toastmasters branded, so that somebody who's brand new really could just pull the one already branded for Toastmasters and plug in their own text or whatever. That might be even easier.
You got that right. I think you're right. So, for instance, this one behind me was built by Maria in Canva. So, and she just took a template from something and she modified it just to.
Yeah, and I think they're awesome. Shareable. They're shareable too, I believe. And I don't know if that would be a way for Toastmasters folks to share. Maybe you could think about that, or you could.
Oh yeah, I like that idea, Susan. I will follow up and see how, because I have a boatload of templates. I really do, for Facebook as well as for the Free Toast Host as well as Instagram, of course.
Right. So that way we could get even closer to the.
So you don't have to spend a lot of time making it. You just plug in your pictures,
Right.
whatever you want to put in, and you're good to go. So all you'd have to do is change some of the wording. Our club meets on Tuesdays, or our club meets on Saturdays, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Speaking of, I did watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I post YouTube videos for the district also. But you can take and save some of your videos or all of your videos if you're recording your meetings, if you're in hybrid or just Zoom. But you can record your meetings or just record part of your meeting. Let's say someone did a spectacular speech and you want to post that. I would strongly encourage you to do that for two reasons. Because I think that if you post something, let's say someone in your club does a speech and you post it up on YouTube, then you know what they're going to do? They're going to tell all their friends and family about their posting on YouTube. You will have a chance to grow your viewers, but more importantly, you're going to have them tell their friends and family and perhaps get that conversation going about Toastmasters itself, and maybe draw some people in. And that's your mission as the Vice President of Public Relations, to draw those folks in. All right, I'm going to ask somebody, anybody know what Nextdoor is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's next door to somebody. And Nextdoor is built for our communities. But you can see here, I was able to use Nextdoor to post an announcement of a contest that we had coming up. And you can use Nextdoor for just such items. I want to show you this. I'm also in District 26, which is out in Colorado. And I'm going to play this little bit by Trixie. And Trixie's going to tell us about her experience with Nextdoor. So let's see what Trixie has to say.
People are sitting at home and your neighbor literally right next door to you could be like, man, I really want to do something. This would be a great time to build my speaking skills, but I don't know where to go. Oh, then they happen to go on Nextdoor and they see this group or they see the event. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know Nancy next door has this event. I didn't even know she was in Toastmasters. And so that's a great little bonding way that you can connect again. And remember, that's what we're losing. So we really want to do that connection. I find Nextdoor to be a great opportunity for that. And in District 26, what turned me on to Nextdoor, was that one of the gals, Sarah Beasley, I think it was 2 years ago, completely launched a club, had 30 members. I think she even had over 30 members within 30 days. And what did she use? Nextdoor. And I was like, get out of town. You did not. That was amazing to me that in 30 days, I think it was even a little less, Sarah Beasley got everything out there, put up the branding, invited people. And yes, this was when we were an in-person club, but I find that to be even harder. I mean, you're telling all these people to come and leave their homes, and she did it. And I thought, wow, okay, I'm on Nextdoor just for my neighborhood and friends, but I didn't even know you could use it in this way. So it's a great opportunity.
All right, what do we got to lose?
Yeah, all right.
Nextdoor is free. I'm encouraging you to use Nextdoor as best you can, whether starting a club or just trying to bring people into your club. Especially if you can get it set up for if you're in a hybrid setting where you want people in that neighborhood to come, use Nextdoor to make that happen.
Hey, George, sorry,
Yes,
real quick
yes.
question.
That's
Just
okay.
to clarify for Nextdoor, is the recommendation, do we do a post from our own personal account, or do we need to create our club specific account in Nextdoor?
I don't know. I did mine from my own personal account and just framed it as Toastmasters, and I was able to do that. I think it's important, though, that you try to do it with someone close to the club location, because that's what you're trying to do. We don't want to do postings for Tampa, so we want to make sure it's close to our club location. That way we have the best chance of getting people to come.
Got it. Thank you, George.
Okay, now, is it Twitter or is it X? I don't know, but I'm telling you, Toastmasters International is over on X. And if anything, whether you're using it or not for your club, you could also use it to go grab things that Toastmasters International has posted. And then you can use those posts to either to share them or go ahead and grab them and use them in your other social medias. You're coming from the big dog, Toastmasters International. Okay, I have a couple others I want to share with you. I don't know if you get on Pinterest, but if you go to Pinterest, you're going to find oodles of postings of Toastmasters on Pinterest. Who knew? I didn't until I started looking around. Of course, Toastmasters plays a big role on LinkedIn. So you'll see lots of postings on LinkedIn with Toastmasters. And then one more, I have to admit, I am a TikTok addict. Yes, I go to TikTok quite often, but so do Toastmasters. And you'll find a lot of postings, not as many as you might expect. So this might be a market for us to do postings. Let's look at one individual. Let's see, right? One fella here, he'll jump out. There we go.
That speech went so well. I am so stoked. If this is my future, being public speaker,
So anyway, this is another way that you can do your social media. So we've been all the way around the block on social media. What about other ways? I don't know if you've been on TV. I've been on TV once to talk about Toastmasters. But if you go to Wikipedia, of all places, you can find a listing of all the television stations in Florida. So you can go and pick one close to your club and then contact it. And you can't see it on this post or this right here, but you can find an email address for you to reach out and talk to someone. Additionally, what about the radio? Well, you can do that too. Again, with Wikipedia, you can get a list of all of the radio stations in Florida and get their information. And then finally, you can do the same thing with newspapers in Florida. And when I was looking at this earlier, it did have the information. In fact, my very first Toastmaster club, we had a newspaper reporter in our club. So it made it very easy for us to get used to working with the newspapers. And in fact, here's an example of a club, a Florida club that, who is this? This is Orlando Conquerors. And they advertised in the Orlando Weekly. I say advertise, they got a free posting in the Orlando Weekly. What I'm saying, Paula, not Paula, but Pamela, there's lots of ways that we can be doing social media, lots of ways. And we can't do them all, we just can't. But what we can do is pick one or two, maybe even three, or find help within your club, someone else who's very good at Instagram or somebody that's very good at Facebook or any of the others, and get them to help you with postings. And they could be the same postings. We just need to find help to send them out as many as we can, because our ultimate goal is to bring people into the club. There are people out there that really need Toastmasters, but they just don't know about us. And it's up to us to reach out to them and bring them in.
Hey, George,
Yes,
can I share?
sure. And you guys, I'll stop share. Go ahead.
No, not
Oh,
on my.
it's okay. Go ahead, Pam.
Just no, it's my screen. Look, if you can hone in on my little box, you can see what I'm holding up. Southwest
The
Toastmasters Club welcomes new officers.
That's what we want. And that's going to
Ta-da!
bring people in, isn't it?
Yep. Love it.
How did you get that done?
Well, that's another club that I belong to, and the VPPR put this in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Hey.
And sometimes they pick it up, sometimes they don't. But when they do, it's a big plus for your club. So well done. All right, let me jump back to my screen. And I was going to say, you're not doing this alone. Like, you have help, not just you. Now, one officer you really do work with more closely than the other officers is your vice president of membership. Because once you get them to the club, then the vice president of membership wants to, they want to sign them up. So you're kind of like the marketing department, and they are kind of like the sales department. They try to get the person to do the final sign up. But I want you to reach out to anyone in your club who has any expertise in any of the social medias. That way you can take advantage of your club to bring those folks in, just don't know it. And of course, you're going to work with your executive team. All 7 officers are in charge of bringing people into the club, not just you. So all together. And of course, we have district support. And in fact, our public relations manager, kind of like our role, but we have a public relations manager for the district. And they will help us in a heartbeat to enhance our club, to do whatever it takes to bring people in. So watch and look out and reach out to them. Now, what about Toastmasters International? Can they help us? In fact, you can go to Toastmasters International and you can grab the articles that they're posting here and you can repost them to some of the other social media sites. So here you are, your club, getting notoriety, I want to say, or some notice. And at the same time, you're helping Toastmasters International get some notoriety. But you don't have to stop there. What you can also do is submit articles over to Toastmasters themselves. And so you can, it's a two-way street, isn't it? You can write letters to the editor and just reach out both ways. They're here to help you. And we're here to help them, aren't we? All right, I think we're all the way around the block. Yeah, okay, I want to open it up for a conversation because I truly want this to be interactive, because you know what? You all know way more than any one person here. Let's hear some comments, please.
I've got a question to the group. Does anybody know a good resource to look for events in the area? Because I'm thinking, as the VP, getting involved with other meetups, maybe not just BNI groups, but groups that are like that in the area that we could filter into and let them know that they have a resource that could help them push their business or the agenda of that particular club.
How do we reach out to, how can we find those resources? Bobby,
Community.
is that your hand?
Yes. So one of the things that you can do that's just crazy how simple it is, you can go to Google and do a search for organizations and groups, and then you put in the zip code, and it will give you a list of all of the different organizations that are listed, and most of them are, you'll get more than you want, from groups that meet every week for dinner, just women that meet or men that meet or what have you. The it's incredible how many different groups and organizations that you can meet, that you can find on there. And of course, the different national clubs are on there, such as, gosh, it's going out of my head right now, but the one that we're partnering with, Toastmasters is partnering with.
Rotary?
Rotary.
Yes, thank you. So, but yeah, it's really simple. Just put in your zip code and put in that organizations and groups in this area, and you'll get those lists.
Let me ask a question similar to that. I met with a group out in Wyoming when I was in a club out there, and it was a group of nonprofit organizations. So it was a whole group of nonprofits as an organization. And I did a Toastmaster presentation to them. And all of them, every single one of them needed Toastmasters because they have to go out and solicit money as they go out into the world. I'm looking for a nonprofit organization here, not one. I'm looking for the group of them. So Bobby, would I be able to find it through that search of organizations and groups? Do you think I would be able to do that?
Definitely. And one of the good things about it is when you find that list, when it comes up, some of the information that it provides is emails, phone numbers, contact persons. It also has quote unquote profit or nonprofit labeled next to it. I've done one for Tallahassee as well as Tampa. I'm sure it covers every other area. I haven't done all of Florida, but I mean, Tallahassee and Tampa, well, we might like to think so here in Seminole country. We're not that special.
All right, thank you. All right, let's keep the conversation going.
Andy C. Paul has his hand raised.
Thank you very much, Paula. Thank you very much, George, for that very good presentation. One of the things that we do in the Tallahassee area is our area director and division director, they have already seeked out these opportunities and are looking for volunteers from the various clubs to represent their club at community events. And we have a list of events that we participate in every year. Several of them in spring and in the fall. So your area director and division director already has their pulse on these activities within your community. So as George said, it's a team, it's a village. So also reach out to your area director and your division director for these community events.
Yes. So an example of that could be the county fair, right? Where you would go set up a table and be present at the county fair, perhaps. Is that what you're talking about? Because I remember doing that.
There's a lot of festivals. So we are going to Experience Asia. We're going to the Latino Heritage Festival. And we do several other things in the Tallahassee area.
All right. Okay.
Also, Susan Spell has her hand raised.
Yes, Susan.
Yes, I was just going to ask, I think Andy had written about which platforms do you see the most traction and maybe worth investing the effort, because it is kind of a lot to think about all of them. And I don't remember what training I was watching, but I think they said Meetup was a good one, maybe LinkedIn too. And so I was wondering if you had any experience with LinkedIn, because it tends to be a lot of like executive type people. So I don't know if they have an interest also in public speaking. So just want to know your experience.
I got to tell you, Toastmasters International, Find a Club, has generated maybe 30 inquiries over the last 2 years, over the last year for the 2 clubs that I'm part of. So those come in. I don't know if you, as the Vice President of Public Relations, would get that notification. Do you know, Paula, if who gets that? I know it's the president, maybe the VPE or VPM. It should be the VPM.
I would think, yeah. I think they go to the president maybe and the VPM.
Okay, but there are going to be lots of those. So that's the most prolific of any of the inquiries coming in that way. I've gotten them through Facebook, people joining our club because they saw a posting on Facebook. I've gotten them through Meetup, just as you saw one just last week, but a whole bunch of them over the last year. Those are the main ones. but as well as the club website itself. But which other ones? Do you know if Instagram does it for you? I didn't tell you my story about Instagram. If I may, indulge me for a moment, because I came across this lady who set up a club in Wyoming. And in her club, she started following, she was on Instagram, and then started following the coffee shops nearby her club. And by following the coffee shops, she started following the people who were following those coffee shops. And lo and behold, those people started following her. Her club got up to 1,000 followers. And then she announced an open house. She had 86 people come to her open house. It's like, wow. So if you take one of these and just play it to the hilt, work it as best you can, it may be very productive for you as the Vice President of Public Relations. And that's what she did. So
we have a couple.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We have a couple more questions. We have Paul Romero, please.
Hi, good morning. I just wanted to go back to the LinkedIn question, because we started using LinkedIn probably a little over a year ago. And it's great because it does tend to get visibility to what I'll call the professional crowd, those that are wanting to develop their leadership and public speaking skills, for example. What's nice about the application is that it gives you metrics. It tells you how much it appeared in searches. Sometimes we get people that follow us that are based not even anywhere near in Florida. They can be in other parts of the country, maybe because they're planning to move to Central Florida. Maybe they're from it, but it just helps with that overall visibility. But certainly I would recommend it. The only little piece that I haven't quite figured out is I created it as a sub account to my main account, and I'm still not 100% clear if that's completely separate, or does my relationships on my personal account see my activity? That's the part I'm a little fuzzy on, but still working on that. But definitely recommend pursuing it. Thank you.
Okay, Paula, we have a District 84 account. Is that how did you set that up, or the team set that up?
District 84 account 4, tell me again.
Yes, on LinkedIn, is it
LinkedIn.
a separate account from anybody, or is it some Toastmaster that's holding on to it for a long time now?
I am actually not exactly sure. I would say check with Donald Tolson, our current PRM, Public Relations Manager. He would have more information on that. We have another question with Charles. And then we're just about out of time. So Charles, we'll go to your question and then we'll have to wrap it up.
Thank you. I meant to capitalize on what Andy C. Paul had to say about using local facilities. In Tallahassee, we have used Springtime Tallahassee and set up there. It's very cost effective. And remember also, they got Springtime Tallahassee and Rose City, Thomasville. They also have venues for us to do the next door or using local facilities. Also, remember when you're talking to various venues that you want to publish or give our message out, remember Toastmasters is a 501c3 charitable organization. So a lot of times that will cover any cost that you might incur. So it can be free. And we've been very successful using local television here in Tallahassee. Our lady friend there, Abby Walton, has been late time, but she's orchestrated Toastmasters for a full week on her program. Anything you got that is a human interest story, don't forget the media. The radio is there, the television is there. It's for your use. So that's my contribution.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Charles.
that, Charles. We have one question. Andy's asking, George, Thank you for a great presentation. He says, was this created with Prezi? He wanted to know.
Would you believe this was PowerPoint? PowerPoint
Wow.
using the Zoom feature of PowerPoint with Cameo. So it's using
Awesome.
2 extra features of PowerPoint.
Well, I bet you a lot of people are going to have questions on that. I want to say thank you so much. Pam, can we squeeze you in with a quick question? Pam Winter?
Yes, I just wanted to quickly mention that because, thank you, Charles, for reminding me, we are a 503c3 corporation, that we are entitled to public service time on TV and radio for
Awesome.
free. We do get PSA announcements in there.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's great. George, any last minute, anything you want to say? I would like to say thank you from the district and from all of us. A wonderful presentation, so much information, and I'm sure that a lot of people will want your email so that they can reach out to you directly. So if you can add that in the chat, that would be
Sure.
wonderful.
It's easy.
And let's everybody give George a hand. Thank you so much. George, any final words from you before we send everybody back to the main room for another presentation?
As I said earlier, I want to be engaging, but we're a team here. We can help each other, and I will get templates somehow that, like this background right here, that we can use and give to each other, so that way our postings will be so much easier. So yeah, I'm after it. Let's do this.